I'm just worried about the Ford and how much speed Ford's gonna have compared to Toyota and Chevy.
Look at this dude.
Again, don't take too much, you know, things to, you know, take away from Atlanta.
Wait till you see the... No.
And my pick for the championship is Chase Elliott. I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm used to taking L's at this point. It's normal. Welcome to the Las Vegas post-race review. I really liked making that intro. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. And yeah, let's get to it. Las Vegas. I, again, don't know the name of the race. I really need to keep, like, tabs on what the names of these races are. I just call it Las Vegas, you know, NASCAR Las Vegas. But this was really, it was an important race. Even though it wasn't very entertaining, it was important. Because Las Vegas does have a tendency in recent years to show what teams are actually going to be pretty fast throughout most of the year. Now, before we overreact, let's get through a couple things in the race that actually happened, and then we'll talk about everything that actually did happen. So stage one was really straightforward. Kevin Harvick started towards the front. He wasn't on the pole. Ryan Blaney was. But Kevin Harvick, starting second, would easily get to the lead, and stage one went green the entire way, and he would win stage one. I don't really think there's any point in putting the results up because it was just a Harvick show. That's all it was. What was really eye-opening was actually when he lapped Jimmy Johnson and flew by him like Jimmy was standing still. That was kind of surprising. But yeah, stage one went to Kevin Harvick. He was on a domination station show with a lot of the Fords running up front. You had Ryan Blaney up there most of the time. You had Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano. Very proud of Joey Logano. We got to keep an eye on Logano to see how he bounces back from last year. And he did have a good run today. And you also had the normal kind of Toyotas up there of Truex. Kyle Busch was up there, and Chase Elliott was kind of the lone Hendrick car with Kyle Larson being up there as well. So Larson and Elliott being the two Chevys that everyone expects to be up towards the front. Stage two, it really was more of the same. One thing I want to touch on is the guns, the pit road guns, not the other kind of guns. the pit road guns. They have, if you didn't know about it, there's you guys probably already know, but there's a new rule where NASCAR mandated a certain type of pit road gun. So, you know, the teams kind of don't get an advantage on the equipment they use, and a lot of these things have been failing. I know Daniel Suarez had an issue with it today, and Harvick had some issues with it, and a lot of it's too many teams to honestly name. A lot of teams are having issues with these pit road guns. Now, hopefully that will get solved as the year moves on, and I think it will. Just for now, it's a lot of bugs going on, and hopefully NASCAR makes a change where maybe the teams are allowed to do something to the pit road guns to at least like get more comfortable with it, because it seems like a lot of issues going on in that area. So like I said, Daniel Suarez would actually suffer from this, getting caught a couple laps down because the pit road gun just it's really dumb, honestly. Some other minor stuff that happened: Denny Hamlin got a speeding penalty in stage two as well, but stage two again was pretty straightforward, and you already know who would win the stage. Kevin Harvick would go ahead and win stage two as well. Now, the first incident of the day would come with Jamie McMurray actually blowing a right front tire, and he would go into the wall, and his day was done. That would give a bunch-up restart, where it would lead to the next accident of the day, and this one was actually a pretty big one. Kurt Busch gets a little bit loose underneath Chase Elliott, and he and Chase go into the wall. Simple racing deal. You can't really be mad on either side. You know, one car gets loose. Apparently, you know, unfortunately, the car on the outside with nowhere to go. And, you know, that's that. I mean, Chase Elliott gets put into the wall. I try a little bit of sarcasm on Twitter. Some other people don't understand the sarcasm. It's just the world we live in. But yeah, it really is a racing deal. It has more to do with the cars themselves. Kurt Busch even said in his interview he wasn't even trying to push it on the bottom, and the car just kind of slid around him. We'll get into that a little bit later when that comes to the cars. And for Chase Elliott, just some more bad luck on his way. Or maybe he just sucks, you know? And if I have to point this out again, yes, I am a Chase Elliott supporter. Anyways, let's move on. After that incident, it was pretty much sailing from there. I mean, I can't really talk about it much. I wish I could talk more about the race, but nothing really of any importance went down. You know, you had the same guys running up front. You had Harvick, you had Blaney, you had Logano, you had Truex, you had Kyle Busch, you had Larson, and nothing else really went on. Harvick just pulled away, and Harvick, being really dominating, would go ahead and win the race. And what was more telling was the Fords, obviously. The Fords were very, very strong. And Toyota was up there as well. Larson being the lone Chevy. Hendrick having another disappointing day. Chase Elliott did have a time where he was running in that 5th place area before he got put into the wall. But other than Chase, the other 3, and Jimmy, and Bowman and William Byron, I'm not really even counting him because he needs to learn experience, but William Byron's running like 30th. That's really not acceptable. You need to run a little bit better than that. Jimmy Johnson going a lap down early, but Jimmy was able to salvage back to a good result. And Alex Bowman kind of just being around there, the Hendrick cars are not doing good enough yet, and it is what it is. JGR as well, they're not there yet. Kyle Busch is up there competing a lot, but the other 3 JGR cars were not really competitive, as you would want them to be. I'm talking like top 5-esque. Denny Hamlin, Daniel Suarez, and Eric Jones. They all kind of just they didn't have the speed that was there. But this is really normal. This is normal. People compare to last year. Last year was the same deal. Ford came out really fast. The Toyotas were not really there yet. It happened last year too. But do we think it's going to change? You never know. You never know. A lot of people are bringing up a great point that the Camaros were actually just built. So you build, if people don't know how like the racing industry works, and when you have to build cars, you have to build a magnitude of cars before the season starts. You have to build a lot of cars to prepare for the early part of the season. Those cars, like let's say the car that Hendrick have for, let's say Texas week 7 or something like that. That car is being built now. So whatever they learn now might not actually be put into that Texas car. It's what happens in the summer, what happens in May, June, July, where that's when the upgrades come. So that's when we'll judge Hendrick. I will say there is some reason to worry because you don't want 3 of your cars running outside the top 20 for a lot of the race. That's not good enough. That for Hendrick Motorsports, you should be competing for top 10s, top 5s, and wins and championships. That's the norm. The only car that looks like a Hendrick Motorsport car right now is Chase Elliott. His finishes don't show that, but Chase Elliott is running fairly well right now. And if the upgrades do come, will Chase Elliott be the first Hendrick car that actually shows the speed to win? We'll see about that. Kyle Larson as well. Larson, he's still doing well. He's running top 5. He just hasn't contended for a win yet. But again, really early in the season, I think Larson will do very well at Auto Club because remember, Larson has not actually won a 1.5 mile race yet. He's only won at 2-mile tracks, so he hasn't even won a 1.5 mile yet. Before we get into the cars, a big shout out. I know I haven't even talked about him a lot. Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick has now won 2 in a row. He has a good amount of playoff points already in the bank, and he's setting himself up really well for the playoffs. And you can't just, take these wins for granted. He's putting himself in a really good position. And he's showing that 2014, 2015 kind of speed that he had, again, this year in 2018. So Kevin Harvick, big props to him. Big props to Ford. And let's see if they could continue the speed. Now let's talk about the cars a little bit. The Gen 6, you guys know. If you guys are longtime subscribers, by the way, thank you for 15,000 subscribers. I really appreciate all the support. If you guys have been here for a while, been watching a lot of race reviews, you do know that I do not like the Gen 6 cars. I despise them, to be honest. I truly despise them. And the reason you could see today the race wasn't that good. Let's be honest. It's not because of a car dominating. I don't want to see fans automatically jump on Kevin Harvick. Oh, he's too dominant, just like they jumped on Truex. Oh, Truex is too dominant. The Toyotas cheat. The Fords cheat. Let's not jump on that trend. It's not domination that makes these races, boring. It's really track position. It's clean air. It's those kind of things that when you're on a restart, you have to be so incredibly aggressive on the restart to gain some spots, and then after 2 to 3 laps, everyone kind of settles in and you can't really make your way forward. Unless the track is super abrasive, which unless it's Atlanta or Auto Club, you're not really going to have that. These cars they were built for speed, and then they took the downforce away from them. So now you have a car that kind of wants to be speedy, but not a lot of downforce. And then you have teams finding a whole bunch of side force, and now these cars are loaded with side force, and it's a mess. When you run side by side with these cars, because there's so much side force in the cars, that side drafting and all that plays a big advantage. And you really can't run side by side for that long because the cars are just so sensitive to air. And also that brings into, the dirty air in the front, which it's really worse than it ever has been, but, it's the same as 2017 as well. So One of these days, I can't really say anything else with the car. Brad Keselowski will say it. He'll come out and say it for us, honestly, and then probably get fined as well. I can't be fined, so thank God. But, you know, it's the cars have to be better, and we've heard news about NASCAR working on another generation of cars, maybe for 2019, maybe for 2020, whenever the heck that is. But these cars are just not good when it comes to mile and a halves and stuff like that. When you put them on the short track, they can obviously be, you know, I've said this all before. That I don't feel like going into it again. I've said it all before. You're gonna hear the same story for most of the season. You just have to deal with it. So that's the Las Vegas post-race review, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, thank you for 15,000 subscribers. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Look at all the content that's already on there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that like button. Please comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the race as well. Start a discussion down there. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Everyone, please pray for all Arsenal fans. Pray. And Wenger out. Peace out.
Even if I tried, even if I wanted to, and I can't change. Even if I tried, my love, she keeps me warm.